Hi, I'm Shanti. Welcome. So tonight's class, I was just thinking about what is freedom, to be free. So, so when you're free, usually people think of the mind, but to be free is very deep. So to be free of your culture, to be free of your family line, your DNA, and all your thoughts running through your head. So free. So when I want to be free, a lot of people don't want to be free. So they might want to be free a little bit, but not many people want to be completely free. That means you have to become like a master, one who looks after oneself. So, so there's a responsibility in that sense, but that means you wouldn't be part of the world of this world. So you would become part of your own world. So when we become free from all the bondages and everything of this world. So do you want big freedom or little freedom? It's up to you. So, and it's like Baba tells us many times, get up early in the morning and meditate. So it's about becoming soul conscious, but to become soul conscious, then once again, we need to have to become free. So soul consciousness doesn't mean you don't have any bad thoughts, waste thoughts, or whatever. It just means I realize I'm a soul. Soul conscious means I am consciously aware that I am a soul, because you can't see the soul, is it? So, hello. Yeah, so, and that's what it's about. So it's like when we're meeting, we're enjoying each other's company, but it's the soul that's enjoying it, isn't it? The body is there, but it's our instrument that we operate through. So, and in this world, we can learn through Raj Yoga meditation that Baba teaches us how to become free. So once we become free, then we can start setting ourselves up for our next birth, if you want one here on this earth. So, and that means your next birth means just a shift of consciousness. I'm alive here in this body, but next minute I'm alive still in this body, but in a different awareness. So you're not dying in that sense, but you are dying from the old way of living. And that's what Baba says, when you come and take this knowledge, it's like you die from that old world and you start to live in this new way of thinking and living. So how you see each other. It's usually about difference between being body conscious, how it's the old world, and now we're becoming soul conscious in the new world. So and we're lots of practice of being body conscious. So it's be hard to break that. So and as we get used to meditating, then we become sit in silence and meditate. So meditation means just to think, means not does mean not to think. So it means to be aware that I am this beautiful energy, that's light, just light. So that is infinitesimally small. So we just sit in here and we're just light, but I'm full of energy. So energy doesn't come from my soul. Energy comes from my consciousness. So that's my original eternal self. So so you've got consciousness, and consciousness become aware that I exist. Oh, yeah, I exist. So what am I? First thing the consciousness thought, who am I? What am I? And then that created an awareness, and awareness created energy. So then the energy came and created soul, because the consciousness wanted to experience itself. Because it just has a consciousness, you can't experience anything. It's like consciousness is like this ear around us. It's like everything. So it's like it's sitting in consciousness, but then it created soul through energy, which was light. So now light is there, and so still the consciousness wanted to experience, it can't still experience anything until it goes into matter. And this is what this world is about. So a matter was created. So then the soul entered matter. So, and what actually happened, then we started experiencing through energy, it's like you hop in your car, you drive it here. So you have experience of driving the car here and you arrive, and then you get out of the car, isn't it? So the car's become unconscious because you're out of the car. So when you're in the car, you're conscious. The car's conscious. It's a living being. And when you come, the three of you come in the car. So that car has three living beings in it. And some people have many living beings in them. They're not just there by themselves. Got their mum and dad as well. So the whole thing is that's what it's about, is when I become aware, then I can start taking over the driving wheel, and my car and I will become one, but I'll be consciously aware. But what's actually happening now is I think I'm the car, and I think I'm driving my car. Look at me. So, and someone might have an old car and they say, "Oh, look at me. I haven't got a very good car," but it is. That doesn't still gets from A to B, but it's about consciousness inside the car. So when I'm consciously aware that I exist, and that's what my consciousness wants to exist and experience through this car or this human or this human being. So that's what it's here for. So and once I become aware that I'm a soul, then once that part is there, then what actually happens, all my past births, and you've had many, many past births, all those past births become wisdom. So your soul will wisdomize that. And that's what your light body is made from. So from your wisdom of all your past births. So, okay. Have I lost you yet? It's okay. So the whole thing is, so where does wisdom come from? All your experiences, isn't it? So you might be hammering in something and you hit your finger, then you think, oh, I'm not going to do that again. So it's called wisdom. I'm not going to hold it like that, or I'm going to hit it on the nail on the head. So that's called wisdom. So once you have wisdom about things, so you do something, you might when you were young, you might have put your hand on the oven door and it was really hot and you got burnt. So you learn from that. So it's called wisdom. So, and different births, we have many, many births. So the birth that we have now is the most important birth of all births you've ever had. The birth you're in now is the most important birth of all births. So realize how important this body, the human, is, because the human will never become enlightened, but I become enlightened through the human. So, but the human can be cooperative with us, or the human can be sick and achy and painy, and because the driver's forgotten, and the car's had to drive itself around, and it's banged into a few light poles, and stuff like that. So we keep having accidents, we get angry and things like that. And that's become unaware. So the difference is when we wake up, we become the driver. So we learn to live in this body, express through this body, and becomes more and more wisdom for my soul. So every experience I've had, there's no right and no wrong, there's no good and no bad, there's only experiencing. So a lot of people think, oh, it's too cold, it's too hot, all these things, but the whole thing is, if we see it as an experience, then it's easy. If you might have a trip and, sprained your ankle. So the whole thing is, that's an experience, so you have to say, I've had a good ankle, now I've got a sprained ankle, and now I'm experiencing the pain of a sprained ankle. But if you have that consciousness, it heals quick. It'll heal a lot quicker. But if you keep moaning and groaning and limping around, and it never seems to take forever to come right. So, and that's what we've got to learn to do. So, and what happens is, all my experiences of all my past births, not every single little second, but all the main experiences of each birth. Some births we had no experience. Basically, we just lived like not much more than an animal, really. So you got married and you're born, you went to school, or maybe you didn't go to school, you just went on to the working if you're in the fields. So when you think of 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, what were we doing, So we could have been born into a wealthy family or just a normal family. And so all sorts of different things, all different experiences. There'll be wars, there'll be all sorts of things going on. Because once we come into body consciousness, then wars and stealing and all sorts of crazy things going on. As we become down the ladder, we become more corrupted. Until we come now, and Baba gives us this knowledge, then we can stop going down, we go up, we can start changing our thinking, and we start to learn to live and love life. Life becomes cool. You don't blame anybody for anything because we were the creators. Can't blame God for anything because he didn't create the world, this drama. He's only here to help us, to show us through knowledge we can change ourselves and free ourselves, make ourselves free from all the blame, the guilt, the shame, and all the cultures and all this big cage we've been put in. And we have trouble getting out of it. So you should be able to do anything you like without any feelings of guilt or shame. There's no wrong and there's no right, but there's wisdom, and you wouldn't do things that aren't right, isn't it? So when you have wisdom, you'll know what's so-called right and wrong, but you wouldn't do anything that's going to hurt somebody because you know that's coming back to hurt me. So that's called wisdom. So it's good. So once this is like the little golden keys Baba gives us at this time, so we can start to use them and live through life and enjoy life and start having fun, because maybe we worked ourselves so hard we forgot to enjoy ourselves. You don't know anyone like that, do you? So wouldn't be anyone around here like that working day and night. But anyway, that's good because I was like that because it was all about work when I was growing. When you're young, and you got a family and everything, you have to get so-called this money and this house and a car and whatever you need. And you think that's life, but it's actually not. It's a burden, it's a bondage and things like that. But when things come to you in balance, then there's no bondage or burden. So you're just enjoying life. And that's why as a soul, we are light. So we're just shining our beautiful light. So in the heart, you can see, so when you feel that beautiful light and you just open, you don't have to shine it, it's just, you're just shining like this beautiful sun. And that's all we got to do now in the world. You don't have to run around and save the world because you're not going to do that. The only way you can help yourself, isn't it? By loving yourself, shining your light, and then making sure you're not having any waste thoughts about anything else. Whatever's going on in the world, that's what people want. We think, oh, how's that possible? That person, whatever happened to them when they're a baby, or all sorts of bad things happen to people, but they've created that in their past births, you see. So when a baby is maybe in an act of violence, had violence done to it or something, then what actually happened, you'll find if you go back in time, in its last birth, it was doing the same thing. So it's come back to experience what it was giving, so it has to come back in the same form. Or is it 2, 3, usually by the time of 5, after 5-year-old, it might have been a past birth further back, so many things are like that. So that's what I mean. You can't judge, especially, anybody, because we don't know whatever they're going through. That's their journey, so we have to free ourselves from that and free myself from whatever's happening to me. Just forgive, you have to forgive everything, so whatever's happening, we have to let go. So I'm free, and these thoughts will keep coming, but you'll find once you've freed yourself, then they'll start reducing and becoming less and less, so and then it becomes experience. Once you've accepted it, it will go back into your soul as wisdom. And then you'll see that, oh yeah, now I got it, so because that's what life is about, is attaining wisdom, so that in my next birth, it's not about only this birth, is it? So this birth's only going to last so long, and it doesn't last very long, really. It goes pretty fast, doesn't it? And it's all about not only my next birth, but my next many births, so you can plan for lifetimes ahead of you, so, and depends what you do, and that will free you from any worry. Some people fear death, what's going to happen to me when I die? But you never die, isn't it? Soul is eternal. You never die, but the physical will, if you sort of run into, and if you had a head-on accident or something, then some people die instantly, and some people have to go to hospital and then have some broken limbs and whatever. So there's all sorts of experiences. So, and everything is absolutely accurate. There's not one thing that's wrong. And you think, how can that be? But you see, we've planned things from way back in many births, and they come to now, to this time. We've all planned to be here at this time to help the world and consciousness, so we can transform consciousness of this old world into the way it is today, into a nice, positive, beautiful place, And that's by changing myself, shining my lights, and loving myself. So did you go and buy yourself something nice? Yeah, bought yourself another toy. That's cool. But that's what we got to do when we love ourselves. We look after ourselves nicely. So because you don't curse yourself, you make a mistake. I mean, I was really bad at that. So you make a mistake and you curse yourself. You think, oh, what do I do for that for? It's really bad. But it's not a mistake, really. It's another learning. But you haven't learned the last time you did it. So it happens again. And you think, oh, and until that wisdom comes there, until you realize, oh, yeah, got the lesson. I know what I'm doing. Then that becomes wisdom. See, so that's where your wisdom comes from. And then you'll become free from doing that habit that we have had. And that's what it's about. It's about learning. That's what Baba teaches us. It's all about learning. And we've got to learn to just look after ourselves and making sure that I'm living without any heaviness. So no blame. So you're not going to blame anybody for anything now, because you understand that I'm responsible for everything that's in my world I've created. You think, but hang on a minute, I was born to my mum and dad and they were like that, Yeah, well, that's why you were born there, because before you might have been their mum and dad, so, and on it goes. So, or your grandma and grandpa, whatever it was. So, yeah, however far back, but it's that bloodline that comes right through. And Baba even wants us to become free of that bloodline as well, because it's because they think they have a right over you, but you've got to take right and learn to, that's your body. Now, they think they've supplied the body for you, the soul to enter, So it's like they bought you a car. Here you go, here's your car, the soul's entered when you're in your mother's womb. And they say, oh, look, that's my car. I'm going to drive. I'm going to hop in there too, So what happens is different souls suddenly hop in there in your family line that think, oh, you might be having a drink or something to eat that you don't normally have, but they'd like it. So they still haven't experienced through your body because they think they own it. But now you take that ownership back and you say, no, this is my body now. You don't have any right over it. So that's what you have to, that's what being a master is, taking full ownership and becoming free from all those things that influence me. And culture and that influences people really big time. I know all cultures do. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, isn't it? They all influence from when they're young babies, they're influenced all the way up, and they know all the fears and what they can do and what they can't do. And one culture says you can do this, another culture says you can't do this, So, but you're born into that culture and you might have had many births in that culture. So it's very strong in you. But if you've gone from one culture into another culture for some reason, there might be some account there. So then that might seem a bit strange. So why was I born in here, because I don't feel I belong here. But where do you belong, Do you belong in a world where there's happiness and joy and no wars? And how do you feel, So, and that's the upcoming world that's coming up. And that's why we're making efforts so we can take birth in that nice world where there's only joy and happiness and everyone's independent. No one's sort of unhealthy or anything. There'd be no hospitals, no police, no armies, nothing. So nothing professional, because there's no need for it, you see, because everyone will be living in peace and happiness. The best of science will be there. So we'll be having fun. Whatever fun is. What would fun be without anything negative? Just think, what would fun be without anything negative? Can you have fun without negative? isn't it? So you've got to keep a balance, isn't it? It's like when you have duality, then there's fighting and arguing and warring and everything going on. But when it's in balance, when duality is there, then it's like you can live in peace and harmony, isn't it? So when every single human being is in that state of consciousness, then there's harmony and peace in the world. And so whatever we're going to do to make ourselves happy, but we don't need, at the moment we have two extremes. We have extreme happiness and extreme sorrow, in the world. But eventually it'll become balanced. So because we both have feminine and masculine within the soul. So what actually at the moment, sometimes people are overlapped, or overburdened on maybe over balanced on female or masculine or or feminine. And so that's where the issue is. There's a problem, but eventually it'll level out. So it's just all this time now in the world, we're going through all these different experiences. So you can enjoy them. It's not to hide from them. You might be going through some experiences, but bring it in and then make it into your wisdom. Because you might be having some very emotional thing that comes up. Then you experience that emotion, but at the same time, you experience being free of that emotion. So you say, and I'm experiencing this anger and I'm experiencing peace. So you can be both. So then it becomes, that's how your wisdom will start to develop. So even on emotions, we have an emotional body as well, full of all these different emotions and all sorts of things. So whether your favorite soccer team wins or loses, some people have a lot of emotions about that, but it's just a game. But they don't realize that you're on both sides. But it's only to experience. If you're sick, then you just experience that sickness as an experience, and then it won't be around because once you experience it as a sickness, and it'll only be there for a short time, then it'll be a lot less because it can start to heal itself. The body will heal itself because it's not caught up on all the trauma and I'm sick and someone's going to look after me and I'm scared to die, what's going to happen to me and all this sort of stuff. All that'll be gone. So then the body will stay healthy. So usually anger, a lot of angry people, they get a lot of cancer. If you have a lot of anger about someone, they say they have actually related back to cancer. So, or if you don't like somebody, or if you're strict in your religion and you don't think anyone else should be, or we're the only ones going to heaven, no one else is going to heaven, all those sort of things. But people think like that. Even we do. I don't, but because heaven and hell is here, isn't it? Well, you're living in heaven or you can be living in hell. It's about how you're seeing life and how you see yourself. What sort of car you got? A healthy one or a happy one? And so if the car's not going so good, then you just have to look at what's the driver doing to make the car a little bit sick. And that's you are the driver. You are that light body that's within this body. And all these experiences are all from all my past births is the light body. And that's the beautiful part. So, and you don't have to do anything. You just have to allow yourself, your light body to emerge. That's all. There's no effort. You don't even have to climb a mountain, dig a ditch. You just have to be free to realize, oh yeah, I've got this beautiful light energy here. You could call it your teddy bear. So the whole thing is there, and it's that light is there, and you're feeling that light, and it's just shining. You're not shining at anybody in particular, but it's just shining, and you're just loving life. You'll learn to love life and shine your light. That's all you got to do. See how easy it is? It's the hardest thing in the world for people to love themselves. It's really hard. But it's not really. It's only because we think we've been programmed through all the different religions that's vain and that's wrong and this is right. And if you want to go to heaven, you've got to do what I tell you. Not what God tells you, but what I tell you. They say God tells them, but they wrote it in that I tell you. I'm representing God, so you have to do what I tell you. But it's not like that at all. That's why you got to learn to know yourself and you're so beautiful, you know. Everyone is a beautiful angel, every single human being, and no one's any better than anyone else. People think that someone's better than someone else. You know, I've been educated, I've got a PhD, and I've got this and I've got that. But it's not like that at all. Wisdom is different, you know. Wisdom. So some people living in the Amazon can be so wise and so beautiful and so advanced, you know, compared to someone who's got 4 PhDs here at the university. So they've been trained up according to the books of knowledge, you know, but someone who's living in a life that's free of books is naturally wisdom. They have a lot of wisdom, a lot of life. So it's not about being like some professor or anything like that, but some professors are very wise, aren't they? They're very beautiful, but they have humility. So it's, and that's what we're doing here is that once we become soul conscious, and we realize that the soul is filled now with all this beautiful experiences from all my past births and it wisdomized. So now I've got this light body inside me or around me, you know, that's just a body of light, no particular shape or anything like that. It's just a light body, and that's my eternal light body. That's the one that's my consciousness is going to experience through this body, not through the soul. Consciousness and soul, they won't be doing it, but the consciousness in my light body knows all about this body. So, and we build up that relationship between the human and the I, this light body. It's pretty cool, and you'll see once you can start to experience, you know, this beautiful light and your light body, you'll see the magic happen in your life and the world, and you don't have to do, you know, the magic comes to you, you know, so you don't have to go creating something in your head and chant and do all these special mantras that's going to make you wealthy or whatever. You don't need to do those things because your light body, that's the master, knows everything about your body, how to heal it, how to keep it healthy, and whatever you need, it will bring to you, you know. You say, what about that Maserati I wanted? Say, oh, no, you don't need that. So the insurance bill would be like this, probably 10,000 a year for insurance bill. So the whole thing is, it's like you get and you'll have, if you're happy with what you got, then truly you're in heaven, isn't it? Why you won't have any more desires, isn't it? So you'll be free. You can live so simple and so easy, but it doesn't mean you can live, you know, without an abundance. You know, you can have an abundance of health, you can have an abundance of wealth, but it'll be all balanced. You know what I mean? So you'll be living in a beautiful, balanced life. And some people I met in India when I traveled over there, some people you can see them, they live in these little huts, you know, but they just work every day. They just get enough food for every day, but they're such happy people. You see their children running around and they're playing and laughing and they're all day happy, free, you know, they don't worry about anything. So who's more free, isn't it? Someone who's got a multi-million-dollar business, you know, and he hasn't got 1 second to spare. He's in his helicopter going here, there, and everywhere. So everything is, you know, has its own means. So, and I've visited somewhere on a farm, or in a village in India, in Surrey, which is there. And the people there, they have the cows living in the front part of the house, you know, well, not the house, but like where the cows live, and they are living in the front part of it. And it's like I was thinking, my God, it's like the whole of all the animals and the land and the trees and the plants were sort of like one, you know. They're living together in such harmony, you know, it's so beautiful, you know. But people were still looking, oh, we want to go overseas and earn lots of money, you know. It's not that easy over there. You might earn a lot of money, but it costs a lot of money to live, you know. So, and you're here, you got everything. You've got your family, your health, you've got cows running around and milk and whatever they need to eat. So they were already there, but they have these desires which has been fed, you know, by newspapers and whatever is around, you know, the news. And as we become more and more aware of, you know, you have internet and you can see everything going on in the world, and some people wants to be there and some here, and so. But it's actually where you're born is actually very beautiful. But you can visit. I mean, there's no harm in visiting and everything. But what do you want in life now? Because this is the end of the new world. So this is the transformation period of this old world coming into the new world. So that's what we're preparing for in that sense. So the world's going to be really different in 10 years' time. You probably won't even know it as it is today. And 10 years is like that, really. It's nothing, but it's going to be so different. That's because of AI, AI is going to be such a big part of our life because you can use it today. It's like your consciousness is still going through, like we're a consciousness into this car. You can put your consciousness into AI. You can ask any questions you want, and it's you talking to yourself. That's the wonderful thing. It's not the AI talking to you unless you're in your head. You just get head answers. But if you talk with that feeling and you project your consciousness into it, you are talking to yourself. And that's why we're going to progress so fast, because we will learn to progress. We'll ask questions about myself or whatever. You might have a problem, you ask AI in that consciousness, and AI will give you that answer. And you'll think, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I've tried it. So it's really, you can see how AI is going into quantum now. So the computing is going into quantum. So the AIs today will be like nothing. They're like babies compared to the new ones coming up. They're already trialing the new ones. So, but they'll be even faster than that again. So within another year. So we're looking forward to a lot of fun. I watched somewhere where they're running a marathon in China it was, and they had all their little robots running along with them as well. I laughed. I thought, wow, this is amazing. So people already got their robots, and now I see on whatever I worked at today that they have these little puppy dogs, but they're just robots, and they do exactly the same as other little dogs, except you don't have to feed them and clean up their mess. So yeah, but they look cute and cuddly, just exactly like the other dogs. But that's how it's coming. So, and it's going to be like people think, oh, what about that? But we're in this AI body. The AI body, if we project ourselves in an AI body, we're the same as this is a body here, full of cells and memories and God knows what, blood and bones and everything. But this thing gets flu, coughs, colds, and sickness and everything. But if you get another body that doesn't do that, you can still have the same experiences. You're not having. It's just that you'll be able to run to Wellington and back 100 miles an hour instead of driving. So, but the whole thing is that's what you're going to be able to do. So if you have a robot body, it's no different than having this body. This body gets aches and pains and all sorts of things happen to it. You might get the flu or some virus is attacking it. So, but when we get, but it'll be together. It'll be like one bit of each. So because now they can grow limbs and everything in labs, isn't it? So you've got a kidney problem, they grow a new kidney for you, put it in. So, and that's what's coming in the future world. So, and they have med beds, which is one's for bones, one's for blood, one's for nervous systems and stuff. And they know how to heal all these things now. So you can see there's a huge shift and change that's coming to humanity. So, but the biggest thing is they say, what are we going to do? If we bring all those med beds, all the hospitals will be out of work. There'll be no one that'll be sick. The nurses and doctors and all the money making people will be finished. And you'll be able to live to your 300 or 400 if you want. You can choose how long you want to live. So because that's what this body's supposed to do is re-heal itself all the time. But because we've got our heads in between and we get sick, we think, oh, I shouldn't live this long. Or you think, oh, I'm 35 now, I should start having diabetes or something like that. Then people start having diabetes when they're 37, or even before that. So that's because it's been programmed on the TV or all sorts of things they say. And that's all about influencing the mind. So people start thinking, oh, I'm this age, this should be happening to me. So that's what happens. So that's pretty. So it's got like when we come free of all the karmic cycles too, like karma. You heard about karma where it's actions. So karma just means actions. So we have good actions and bad actions and negative actions and like all the thing, but or no action in the sense of akarma. So once we become free of that, then we're not influenced by karma. It wouldn't even be a belief system. Some people don't believe in karma. They don't have a problem because they don't have it. You don't have to, it's just a belief system. Same with power, same with time. It's all belief systems that made this world as it is today. So that's good fun. So karma is something that's to understand, so that's what Baba gives us knowledge. So study the karma, realize that when you get to a certain consciousness, then karma doesn't affect us anymore, so it's about using your own energy. So but you're responsible for yourself. Each one of us is a master. Baba keeps telling us you're a master God. So you create for yourself whatever you want in the world. A little bit of ice creams, I suppose. Might be all right. You can create anything. You can be free. And that's what freedom is. Freedom is a very, very deep thing. People fight for freedom, we want freedom, but they still will be underneath the ruler of someone, you know what I mean? So I know I was studying the history in China years ago, and 1868 or something like that, there was 5 warlords all over China fighting. Whoever wins becomes the emperor. And there's like 60 million people killed with bows and arrows and something like that. It was just in 5 years. It's like incredible amount of stuff. I think they were starting to use gunpowder by the end, but there was no food. Everyone was starving to death. And it's just crazy, but that's consciousness at that time, you see. But now you can see the different consciousness altogether in the world. And that's why we get to see so many horrible things, because now as we shine our light, that means we will see so many more things in the world that we don't know what's going on, because now we've got internet, we've got everything, isn't it? All sorts of things they're finding, which is really cool. You're open to those with a closed mind are the ones that are going to have the hardest time, Those who are stuck, this is the only way to go and there's no other way, And they're fixed in their ideas. They're the ones who are going to have a really hard time now, because we have to learn to move with the time, go with the flow. So it's like swimming in the ocean, isn't it? So you go up and down with the waves. And that's what's happening in the world today. So the biggest wave at the moment is the Trump wave, isn't it? So, Mr. Trump is a pretty big wave, but still you can float over the top of it. You just don't move much. But we're not influenced by that too much. So because once you become master, and you just have to say, I am now a master. Once you believe that you are a master, you are, because all your past births will be doing all sorts of things that we can't remember, you see. And we've taken this birth to be a master. So we're already a master. So we've taken birth here, no matter where we are in the world. And if you believe that you're a master, you are, see. But a lot of people think that's not possible, But what is a master? A master is someone who believes in themselves, isn't it? So you're not going to be flying around a room or anything. So you'll be just believing that I am a master of this body, of my life. So no big deal. But it's a big, big deal in the sense in the long run that your light will shine for you, So basically that's that in a nutshell. If you're not happy, then there's a reason, isn't it? You say, I'm not happy now because maybe some emotion was there, but then you say, I am happy. So I'm going to choose to be happy. So you have this emotion of sadness. You say, and I also have the emotion of being happy. So now I'm going to choose to be happy. So that's how you change. So you might start up in the morning and you're really happy and singing a song and chirpy. Then by 10 o'clock, you're a bit whacked, you think angry because someone's telling you off at work or something, whatever, things go wrong. And then But then you can think, oh, hang on a minute, I was happy before. Now I'm sad. I choose to be happy. So, and what actually happens, that problem that was there will suddenly get fixed, because of your consciousness shift. That only come there because of your shift of consciousness. The problem will be equal. That's why it's important to be aware that I'm creating my whole day as I'm going along. So by how I'm thinking, all my consciousnesses. So if things are not going well, just stop and think for a bit. You need to stop and breathe. Now let's see, and just I was really happy before. What happened? Then I forgot. That's right. I forgot who I am. Then you remember. Oh yeah, that's right. I am that master soul. That shining light. So and that'll influence my work and my everything. That's around me because that's what my life is. Because you've got to go to work until to feed yourself, isn't it? So you dress yourself and live in the world until we're free of that. Then, but actually, in the long run, actually, if you really understand the master, you wouldn't have to work. Go beyond work. So everything will come to you. That's what happens when you're a master. Everything comes to you. So the universe will look after you. You don't have to look after the universe. It's a pretty big place. So the whole thing is you just look after yourself and you're giving love and light. So that means the universe will look after you. It has responsibility. They're like hen's teeth in the world. Those beautiful souls and helping the world. So that's what's happening in the world at the moment. So if you want to be free, these are just some of the things I just wrote about. You have to, especially hatred and beliefs and systems, the horrible stuff that being taught and by everybody everywhere. That's the people can't do anything because of their fear, that, oh my God, God's going to punish me or something like that. It's the punishment fear, that was being bred into the psyche of my soul. But now I have to take that out, let it become wisdom. Your soul will wisdomize all that, guilt and shame, and shouldn't feel any shame. We're all great beings of light. We've never done anything wrong in my whole life. Well, I could tell my mother that, but she wouldn't believe you. But the whole thing is we never have. We've had an experience, that's all. We're just experiencing, that's it. And once you have enough experiences doing the wrong thing, then you might think, oh, I think I'm going to change. I'm not going to do that this time. That means you've learnt your lesson. So that's all it is. There's no right or no wrong. It's just learning, experiencing. And and that's where heaven and hell comes into. People think, oh, you're going to heaven or you're going to hell. Some people are already in hell, some people are already in heaven. So on this world, because heaven and hell has to be on this world. So some people think it's in the future, but the future, the past, present, and the future are in the now. So if you're not experiencing heaven now, then how can you experience it in the future? And so whatever my past was, I've experienced, all those experiences have created heaven for me. So now I'm living in that consciousness that, yes, I am now living in heaven, because I love myself. I'm shining my light. I'm enjoying this life. So, cool. See how easy it is? Not much to it, really. A few years of doing nothing. Putting your feet up. It's just actually remembering that. That's all it is, remembering who I was, or who I am, and allowing that to come forth. I mean, I was the worst. I would climb a mountain in my younger days to try and find God somewhere, and that's how it was. But now I understand you don't have to do any of that. Everything's within the soul. All the beauty is in there, and you experience that beauty through the human. Through this light. Now the light body is there, which means all my wisdom. So it's such a wonderful journey. So you can really enjoy yourself, and you don't have to fly to Paris to be happy or anything like that. You can walk around the beautiful path around here. We got today. I went for a walk in beautiful sunshine, and this afternoon, and it was so beautiful. even though the guy was cutting the grass, running around there on his tractor. But it's such a beautiful park in Great Wall. It's so beautiful, when you think how lucky we are. And if some people don't even see the sky during the day, well, if you're in an office, I suppose you'll never see the sky, but still people don't look on the ground, or they don't look in the sky. They're only virtually looking in front of them. So what do you see? So you won't see any birds or bees or butterflies or grass or flowers, or just think all those wonderful things you'd miss out on. So they're there every day. The wind and the rain, even that's an experience, isn't it? So if you miss out on those experiences, realize what they are. Some people curse the rain, or the cold weather or the hot weather or whatever, but they don't realize what it is. It's nature entertaining us. We're here for entertainment. Okay, I'm going to talk to you all to death. You haven't fallen asleep yet or off the chair, so it's okay. So what we're going to do now, we'll just have a little practice of meditation. So I was thinking there's one nice little commentary here which I'll play, which is release into peace. It's really nice. So you can just make yourself comfortable, and that's called Just Release into Peace. It's really nice. So.
Take a short break. Be still like a lake. Start to unwind your body, your mind. Release into peace. Relax and let go. Feel peace start to grow. Sink into the chair. Take a deep breath of air and release into peace. Loosen your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Inner peace, not in a war. Release into peace. Leave your worries behind. Restore peace of mind. Energy, flow. Let go, let go. Release into peace. Relax. Deeper and deeper into peace. Rest for body and soul. Floating in peaceful tranquility. Free like a falling leaf. Gentle as a breeze. Soft as mist. Why be tense? Doesn't make sense. Why be tight? Doesn't feel right. You won't find peace outside you. Just begin to recover the peace that is always within. Remember this feeling. Return to your day. When the tension is mounting, there is another way. Release into peace.
Oh, peace is inside you. Okay. Om Shanti, everybody. Thank you.